Good morning, everybody. This is George, Truck Driver Nation, and what I want to do is go over double brokering to get you a better understanding of how this even happens. So, as all the times I've dealt with brokers, because I'm pretty good about not getting double broker. I don't want to jinx myself, and this is bragging, and don't take it that way. I've never been double brokered, but I know what I'm looking for because I've been in trucking logistics for so long that it don't take much of a conversation when something hits my mind that don't sound right, and it's a red flag. And I'm an attention to detail type of person, so I'm going to get nosy. If you don't like me getting nosy, we'll hang up the phone. But where these people are getting these MCs that they use as their baseline MC when they're actually getting freight, what they're doing, whether they're buying that MC or they're using somebody's MC that they know that may be going out of business, it could just be a dirty truck driver, that's got everything lined up and says, "Hey, why are you going to truck, do this?" And they may have even outsourced it from the United States to somebody. There's so many scenarios on how people behave to be basically, they're devious. They're dirt bags. So if they're getting that freight from whatever broker, and they can just find the loads on the board and they can post them, right? So, and you don't know if they don't even have a dis, broker's license. They may or may not. They may be using somebody else's. They may call the broker and say, "Well, hey, let us represent yours." You just don't know what people will do for such a little bit of money, because when you're coming from a third world shithole, then and I could sit here and point them on the map where they're at, and and I can tell you where I've got the most feedback on. So when I get somebody from a particular country based on their accent, whether I'm right or wrong, in order to make there's a red flag up, just because of their nationality. So when you're looking at this, they're putting them out there on the board. Then they're hunting for you. You got to have somebody to carry the freight no matter what. So they get on there, and when they're getting on they can do it multiple ways. They can say, give us your information, let's set a carrier, pack it up with us, because remember now they're posing as whatever to push that freight forward. So, and because they're wanting to just get it straight, in case you don't know, they're wanting to get the money straight from the actual real broker to that factoring service so they can draw the money and you lost out. Okay. And if you're a dispatch service, you better consider this a big red flag, because now you've got money that's not going to that particular owner operator. And the only way you're going to have any chance of getting in most scenarios is you're going to have to back source it all the way to the original direct shipper and then bill them. And then obviously they're going to say something to the broker if they've been doing business for any extensive period of time. Why have I got this carrier billing me for a load that was given to you to handle? And now, they're charging us X amount of dollars, whether you're going to charge them a flat rate or you're going to charge them for, not taking care of your business, you can do anything. So, it stays. But the biggest thing is you want to recover the money as quick as possible, because me being a driver and owner operator, it's fuel money. Majority of that money is going to go to fuel and keeping your truck running. So that being said, when you're looking at them, when they're talking to you, listen to what they're asking you. If they're not wanting to give you all the details on the load, now they will know the details because they're able to get it. They can call in just like anybody else. And it depends on how many MCs that they're working with, they can get the data. But if they're not very good and they don't understand how our logistics system works, then they can easily go in there and and sit there and deny some of the information, because you as a dispatcher, or whatever your role you're playing, even for owner operators that dispatch their own loads, lots of people get tired. It becomes a monotonous routine, and you forget to ask those questions because you're letting your guard down. Now, me as a freight dispatcher, I don't let my guard down because I don't need the problems. Attention to detail, and if it ain't right and it didn't happen type of thing, that's the way I live and breathe it. So if they're trying to get all your information and set you up in a carrier packet or whatever they're trying to do, they're getting all the data about who you are. Okay, because they're going to actually give you that load because they're going to run it through them. But you get there and let's say your rate con has, you're going to pick it up. But if anybody's paying attention, because don't think the shippers don't always pay attention. They try to do their job too, but if you got a ding dong that's 1 foot in the job today, next day not, then they're probably going to miss it too, and they'll dispatch that load to you. And I'm going to tell you right now, And the time that I drove trucks, that's 24 years. I think I've had three, somewhere like that, three loads. I left and it wasn't the right load on the truck. So if that happens, anything else is possible as well. So they load the freight on you and off you go. You did the route, then you get all your proof of delivery, you got your recon, now you're trying to send it factoring, and that's when you're going to find out what's going on. So, but thing is, too late because as soon as they got it, believe me, that whoever that was that you dealt with, it's going to track you very closely. So as soon as you get it, hey, send it to us because they're beating the money rush, right? So they're going to get it all put in because remember, you got to invoice them. So, but that's one of the reasons, you got to keep your guard up when dealing with anybody in logistics. That's the reason you got all the tools that you have to be able to track them down. And there are some open-ended sources. I actually came across one just here recently. I can't recall the name of it, but it's still free. I don't know if it's on a beta version where you can actually, now obviously you want to run your brokerage through your factory to make sure that they're credit worthy, but there's a new one that's apparently helps to prevent, and it's free, that'll help prevent you from being double brokered. What all information they're asking to ensure that, I don't know. I haven't had time to go in there and look at it, but I wanted to make this video because I get a lot of people asking, well, how do I keep getting from double broker? And it's not that everybody's asking me every day. I wish people probably need to ask me this question more often. But that's one of the deals that you need to look at. And when you're doing your loads, you need to also understand because people keep asking, well, how do I stay out of bad areas? Look, the market is very fluid. It means it moves around. It's not static. There's not going to be a given rate for any given region. But just know to stay out of some of these areas. For example, again, let me get a marker here type of thing. Maybe we can move around. I'm gonna do a couple of them. I'm not gonna do all of them. Give me 1 second. There we go. So there's the thing. Let's get us a little pencil here. Where's that? That's a pencil. There we go. So like anything below this line right here, you see below that, that's I-4. Anything, well, let's be honest about it. Basically anything below here. So let's say you're going into Florida, it's trash. Anything below I-4, when you go down past this line here, anything all down through here is going to be problematic from getting a decent rate getting out of there, unless you've already got some contact, but they're still not going to pay you what the board says. Vermont, let's do it right here. We're going to go, let's say, well, let's basically just go everywhere from right. Just use that as the mark right here on the top left. So all of this up here is a no-go. Try to stay out of there. That's going to be problematic. If you're going up here, anywhere north, up in the North Michigan, there's a lot of factories and stuff up here that produce stuff. But not enough to really justify you always going up in here. Remember, this is a pocket. I mean, whatever you get up in here, you're basically streamlined on what you're going to get. And I'm going to have to say San Diego, because sometimes these corners, I don't know why San Diego just seems to be so bad. But, people complain about, here, Dallas, Fort Worth, and they also complain about Houston. But I'll be honest, I still get good freight out there. Maybe it's because when I was an owner operator, this is what I ran. I literally ran from here down to Houston, across to San Antonio or Austin. I'd have to come back up. I think Austin's right in here. And then I would come up here to Abilene, wherever that's at, somewhere in there. And I was doing this triangle. And that's literally what I did. And that right there actually paid for my truck. So, people say what they want about that circle, but I totally think it's a good spot. As far as being able to actually, as long as you're making those new connections. But, when you get out, obviously, into these other regions, you're talking about North Dakota, South Dakota, I never really ever picked up much over here in Minnesota area. You got deadlands out here. So, even Wyoming, you can get stuff out here depending on your trailer. But, here I never ran much. Here, all this up through here, I never ran much. Nevada, you got basically, Reno, that's going to be about the extent of that. But remember, it's always going to depend on your trailer. And so I'm not going to get too further off deep in that. I just wanted to kind of open your mind up to some of the spots that I've experienced. But as long as you can get you a triangle, I'm gonna tell you straight, the one that I did the best on when I was actually running freight. I'd pick up in Denver because this is where I was living. I was in Colorado Springs down there by 10th Group. I'd run from here, come down. I mean, you come down 287, hit the here, come to here, come all the way across and go all the way down to Miami. But the thing is, I was doing car hauling. So I did snowbirds and I would let it reload, come all the way back up, drop off if I had something here, and then go all the way back to the house. That was me right there. I ran that for years and I did real well on this. So keep that in mind. But now, if you're often car hauling, I know there's not a lot of car haulers that look at this information, but if running just from Denver, basically, I did a lot of 70. So I run my whatever it costs to 70, and then obviously shoot on down to Los Angeles, and then pick up. Now sometimes I had to go all the way back to Salt Lake City sometimes, and run it that direction if there wasn't, it was limited. But most of the time, I just literally back trail it as well. But sometimes I would come over here because you want to come over and hit 25 and come back up because sometimes the weather gets really crappy and you just have to, bypass that. Just depend on what's going to be. But you've got, at the end of the day, you're looking at money. How much downtime would I have? How many days would I have to shut down? I might have to do a lot of chaining because I'm not chaining no car hauler. And if you were a car hauler, you know why. It's just the whales are real small. You got to get chains around. It's just, and you don't want to lose your cars. But anyways, but as far as, brokerage and preventing that double brokering, that would be my best suggestions on those methods. If you have topics on about brokerage and about how to prevent yourself from being double brokered, call me, give me the scenario. I'll tell you exactly what the hell's going on, because you got to remember, people hitting you with scams from different angles, and being associated with so many trucking companies that I work with even now, that I get to hear a lot of the war stories because everybody talks business, even though you're supposed to be relaxing on the weekend. But once everybody gets drunk sitting around fires, if they don't, they'll get off on tangents of talking about trucking. It don't matter if you're on a truck being a driver or you're a dispatcher or recruiter, whatever. It just happens to be that message. And how people are, they'll gossip about people or talk about this idiot did this, and whether they were an idiot or not, who knows. But they made a mistake and now they ended up costing the company money, and and what they're going to do to resolve the issue. And sometimes I don't necessarily think it's fair the way they resolve the issues, but it's their company, right? I mean, I don't never work directly for nobody. I always work outside because I can make the decisions. And when I'm talking to you, you don't have to worry about going, yes, ma'am, no, or yes, sir, no, sir to me, because I'm literally a truck driver that got out and started recruiting, dispatching, and freight brokerage. So if you're interested in knowing more, obviously, go to the website, Truck Driver Nation, which is right here, right there, truckdrivernation.com, or give me a direct call. Phone number is 210-343-1118, 210-343-1118. And for everybody that has gone through the course, man, I'm glad y'all are doing good. I'm not going to say I told you, because it really came down to your ambition to actually engage after I taught you all that stuff that anybody could have taught you, right? So the information. Everybody keeps acting like, oh, I got the best dispatch service and da da da, and I could teach you the world and make it glory. That's bull crap. If they're telling you that, they're lying. It has nothing to do with teaching how to dispatch. People teach the next person to dispatch and the next person to dispatch, etc. It's the connections that you have. And that's the only benefit by dealing with me, is those connections. Whether it's dealing with the drivers, where I source those drivers, and what you're actually needing out of those drivers, or all the contracts and everything that I just give to you, because I'm not going to nickel and dime you. Okay. I can play Let's Be a Millionaire. No, I don't give a crap about all that. I just want to be able to live my life and enjoy the rest of my life. And I don't want to have to go back on that truck. Okay. I'm that resentful from driving trucks personally myself, because if I would go up, make good money, and then I come back down. It's always so much drama out there on the road, and you're working so hard. And at the end of the day, I just felt like it wasn't a fair shake for what my desired walk in life wanted to be. And I did a long time, and I enjoyed things. And there's a lot of stuff that makes great memories. But when you're talking about actually, bang for your buck, the price, what's your time worth? What's your labor worth? For me personally, it just wasn't there. So that's the reason dispatching, I'm very happy with it. It pays so much better. Oh my goodness, it pays so much better. But thing is, I strive the extra length to offset those percentages that I'm charging you as owner operators to make sure by you letting me be responsible for your equipment that my task is to offset it so you don't feel that. You're giving me the ability, and if I can't offset it, then obviously sometimes I don't charge it if we've just had a couple of bad weeks. Why should I charge it? I didn't do the job right. Yeah, I worked to get the loads, but if I didn't get the loads that needed to make a profit, what you should have made, then I'd rather keep you as a client than ever lose you because, oh, I think I need an extra whatever couple of $100. It just ain't worth it. But but as you deal with your owner operators or whoever you're dispatching with, then you build those relationships because we know each other. I mean, they know when I'm in a bad mood and I've had a hell of a day, and I can tell when if they had a gun that even me sometimes they want to kill because you gave me the parameters and I'm following the orders. You're my commander. I just work for you and you're paying me to do my job. And if I'm not performing, then obviously we need to figure out, do you need to cut me loose? Is that the situation? But everybody say, oh well, I'm such a great dispatcher. Every load don't come out right. They're talking a lot of bull crap. And and I know that everybody says I'm rough around the edges. I get it. But thing is, I'd rather you know the truth. So don't hesitate when you call me or you text me or whatever it is. Actually, you can email me as well at support@truckdrivernation.com. But when you go to the website, it has all our contact information. Go through there, and we got both the dispatching school on there, and we've also got the dispatch services. So if you're an actual dispatcher and you want to work with us, contract it with us, I'll provide you all the leads and everything just like you normally would. You know how to look at MCs, determine if they've got a good enough MC that you'll actually be able to dispatch basically from any board there is, and also doing the direct freight as a freight agent. But anyways, I hope that helped, gave you a little bit of insight. But I appreciate everybody that's participated with us. It's helped us grow. And for those that are actually in the course right now, going through the material, you reach out to me anytime. We get on the phone. I don't let you off until we get whatever straight. But I've put a lot of hours into that content to ensure that it meets all your needs because it's a self-paced course with a one-on-one instruction when you're needing it. So if there's anything you ever feel like you need to add to the course, let me know. I did a great job with it because I know how many hours I put into it, but it doesn't mean I put everything in the world. I covered basically the bulk of it's going to be dry van, reefer, flatbed, and step deck, and handling those scenarios, negotiating freight. The rest of it standard dispatch and paperwork. But for car hauling, intermodal, oil field, marine work, I put it in there, but I don't teach it because there's so many factors that could go wrong. I don't want it coming back on me. And I know it literally would come back on me because it's not, I'm just teaching how to do it. But, I had hands on, and they don't say I haven't never crushed a brand new Mercedes or an Audi. It's happened. Okay. It's equipment. They have failures. The pins slide out of the holes and the hydraulics give way. Next thing you know, you go back there and you go, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But it happens. Okay. But anyways, if you need information or anything like that, or you just want to call me and talk to me, see if I'm a good candidate to teach you the dispatching process and get you involved in logistics. I'm not trying to send you back to school. I tell everybody this. I'm trying to get you out of the truck and into dispatching as quickly as possible. Okay. The biggest benefit that you're going to have is that you're a truck driver. A lot of people say, oh, no, no, no. You know a lot more than what you think you do. So don't let people get in your ears and say, oh, you can't never do dispatch and that. Absolutely, you can. Okay. And I'm here to tell you who to meet, hook you up with whoever I have access to. People say, oh, you're going to give your business away. I've been in this 30 years. How am I going to give my business away? My whole business is built off of connections, not off of paperwork. So don't hesitate to get in touch with me and we'll go over everything, see if this is something feasible for you. And but anyways, I appreciate your time. And look, drivers out on the road, please be safe out there. I know it's a rough life. Just bear with it. You want to get out of that truck, be back with your families. No more all night driving, chaining, and all that mess that goes with it, DOT drama. Then get a hold of me and we can get you transitioned over. But everybody have a blessed day. And we're going into the weekend right now. So have a great weekend. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for your time.